This is the Severn Park Fire and Rescue Training Centre, and today a group of firefighters from Blackwatch have just arrived and are about to sign in for a special container fire course.
Hi, good morning. We're here for the container fire training course.
Yes, so sign on that sheet there for me, please.
Thank you.
And make your way up to the classroom.
The training centre work with both new and experienced firefighters from 3 areas: Devon and Somerset, Avon and Gloucestershire. A wide range of courses are on offer, covering everything from pumping and basic ladder work through to using specialist appliances like the urban search and rescue truck, and also how to respond to a road traffic accident. The centre even offers emergency response driver training. On site are a number of buildings that are used for firefighting drills, and this is what the Blackwatch crew members are here to do. Later today, they will be practicing fighting real flames in a simulated container fire. But before they do this, they must have a classroom session where they are reminded of the dangers and how they can stay safe whilst also fighting the fire in the best possible way.
Not be within that compartment, obviously producing too much steam, or excess steam, use of excess water. A wide-angled safety.
Classroom theory sessions like this are very important, as they allow the training officer to find out how experienced the firefighters are and make sure they are all well prepared for the practical sessions to come.
I know it's a big thing that we do like to think about discuss. Anybody not had this learn not to? I can't remember having a questionnaire we discussed about. It was just.
After the theory session, the firefighters put on their overalls and assemble in the yard for their first practical session. Today's training is all about fighting fires in small enclosed spaces, like a living room. And at the training centre, there is a special pretend house that the training officers use to explain to the firefighters the different ways they can use water to fight a fire. They are shown how and where they should spray the water and the effect that this will have on the fire.
Okay, well what we'll do to start with, yeah?
The firefighters move out of the building and split into 2 teams to practice what they have just learnt. They connect to a hydrant and run out 2 hose reels. These are then attached to the pump at the back of their fire engine, and the other end of the hose is connected to a special attachment called a branch. The branch can be adjusted so the firefighters can change the strength and shape of the jet of water, allowing them to control the fire. It is very important to practice using the branch because when a firefighter comes to use it for real, the room may be filled with smoke and very hot, so they need to be able to adjust the branch quickly. It is now time to put these techniques into practice on a real fire. Inside this special metal container, there will soon be a fire for them to fight. But first, the training officer gives a quick safety briefing, explaining what will happen.
Let's come in, find the step here. We'll just put our tallies over there on the side. We'll slot them into a board. Make sure you buddy check. No spinning here. We prefer that we stay on our hands and knees and do our gas, reach up and do our gas cooling. So we won't go beyond here. Okay.
Once the briefing is complete, the fire is lit and allowed to take hold.
Right, what we're doing today, we've got a fire behind us, as you can see in the camera. We're looking at simulating a fire in a small flat or house, or maybe even a classroom, which a firefighter might have to go to. This fire has only been going a short time, but as you can see, the flames are going quite heavy. The smoke coming out is very dangerous. The flames are pretty dangerous. And what we're doing, we're getting the firefighters to go in there with their fire kit, wearing a breathing apparatus, obviously, because without that, they wouldn't be able to survive. And what they're doing, they're trying to control the fire, trying to control all that smoke you can see coming out. And what that's doing is making them safe. So if someone needs rescuing there, or we need to save the property, or your house, or whatever, or your flat, they can do that quite quickly. And that's the whole point of the training. So we're doing it safely, but they're still exposed to the fire and the gases. And we go in to make sure that they are safe while they're doing it, and that they know what they're doing, and they're not going to hurt themselves, even though it looks pretty dangerous.
Whilst the fire has been burning, the firefighters have been putting on their breathing apparatus, called BA, and performing their buddy checks. This is where firefighters check each other to make sure they have no exposed skin that could be burnt. Now the fire is burning well, the first group enter the container. They will practice their branch techniques on the fire and then swap over with the second group. On the side of the container is a temperature gauge that is regularly checked by the senior officer to make sure it's not getting too hot inside. Also on the side is a door that can be opened in case of emergencies or to help control the heat of the fire. As the second crew enter the container, the first group gather together and check the gauges on their BA to see how much air they have used from their tanks. The training officer then provides them with feedback about how well they have been doing and what they could do better on their next go. There are 2 training officers on this exercise, one in the container with the firefighters and the other at the entrance. Here, he is explaining to the firefighters that as more water is sprayed onto the fire, the level of smoke drops as the steam and smoke mix. Finally, the crews have one more go each, and then the fire is left to burn itself out. At the end of the session, the firefighters gather together to practice a derobing procedure. During this, they carefully remove their helmets and jackets whilst keeping their BA masks on. Doing this means that they don't breathe in any harmful ash or dust from the fire that could be on their clothes. Today's smoke wasn't dangerous, so they are allowed to remove their masks at the same time. After the firefighters have showered and changed, they clean their BA sets, wiping off all the soot from the smoke. Their tanks are also connected up and refilled. The training centre keeps a supply of BA sets on site, but Blackwatch put their clean, refilled sets back on their engine, as they could have to respond to an emergency shout on their way back to the station, so must be ready for action.